Okay, so I know I literally just called the channel The World by Wheels, and this one's actually a hike. What can I say? That's how I roll sometimes. Well, walk, whatever. Anyway, in this one, it's my first actual real adventure episode, and I'm taking on Catalina Island by foot and making my way all the way from my house to Catalina Island and then across it and then back, doing as much of it on foot as I can without falling over from exhaustion. I should also let you know I'm not some seasoned pro. I'm just some guy who scrolls the internet like you, gets inspired and then just dives into it. So here's my plan. First, after much consideration, but maybe not enough research, I packed my newly purchased Amazon backpack full of what I thought I needed. Firstly, fires were prohibited on Catalina at the time, so my little twig-burning BioLite camping stove was likely to attract some attention with the smoke blowing on the wind to some park ranger somewhere, so that could have stayed at home with some ready-to-eat meals in its place. Also, a much lighter sleeping bag would have been a must, and perhaps carrying less water. However, I was all about loading myself up for the added challenge, and it did turn out to be a challenge. Plus, I'm one of those people who knows how much crap a lot of places will put in their town water, and I wanted the best ratio of water to crap that I could secure, so I brought my own and lugged it. Anyway, leaving home, I took about 49 minutes to walk the 2.1 miles to my local metro station to catch the first of 2 trains to Long Beach, changing in downtown LA for the Long Beach line. And if I'm honest, there was a lot of homeless people using the trains as their own accommodation, and no judgment whatsoever, but cleanliness-wise, it did have a rather fecal smell that I wouldn't recommend, and probably would find other ways to get there in the future, so do your own research. Anyway, eventually I arrived in Long Beach, and my first issue was coffee. I needed some, so I found this little place, and it was capable, great coffee, and then I was on my way. Next, the ferry. Cost about $30, and then I was on a boat full of random travelers from families, retirees, and even some middle school field trippers. All right, so I'm off the boat. I got my trusty backpack back here. Once I arrived at Catalina, I basically just beelined it straight through the tourists, straight through Main Street. Day one. My original plan was to maybe camp overnight at this little camp spot just out of Avalon and then have a full day of hiking the next day. But, once I was there, it was the middle of the day and I thought, you know what? I got so much time. Screw it. I'm going to go for this, and I can make my way all the way to the camp spot and started smashing my way up the first sections. So if you're doing the Trans Catalina Trail, it starts just after the fire station. Things I would do differently, probably weigh what I've got in my backpack. Water's kind of limited, only available at certain places on the island, so you got to carry a little with you. I'm carrying around a gallon. It's all paved road so far. A mile down the road, starting to feel a little bit more natural, less buggies, almost at the trail. Here's the trail. And off we go. Nature's put some treats on for us. These are prickly pear, and they're edible. And I'm gonna eat them. Starting to get some altitude. Almost at 1,100 feet, about 1,360 at the moment. Not too bad a pace. Taking my first break. We're at 1,650. You know your bag is too heavy when this is required. And my first snack. Well, I've been awake since 5. Had a coffee, about an eighth of a big fat watermelon. Not sure I ate anything else. Yeah. That wasn't smart. So annoyingly, these little granola bar type things, when it's hot, they break. After they break, they fall onto the dust. Yeah, this is crunchy. Back up the mountain, 1,700 feet. It's starting to get so high up. I think we're above the thermocline. And you can see the next island poking out from above the marine layer there. The view just keeps getting better and better. 1,900 feet now, surpassed 2,000. I'm at 2,100. 2,300 feet, still going up. Here comes my first bison warning. That's fun. So if this is your first trip, as it is mine, it's worth reading these just to find out about the place. Top 2, rattlesnake and bison. The big and the small, closely followed by number 3 being ticks. Now if you need to pause it and have a read, by all means do so. Not sure if that was a good idea. The first sections were incredibly brutal, especially with that much water being carried. But eventually you do get past the super steep mountain edge part, and then you eventually hit a dirt road where the vehicles will be cruising across the island as well. As much as it feels like I'm walking on a road for this next section, I'm kind of okay with it because I'm pretty exhausted. See, I came from down there. So I just bumped into some hikers. They're on their way back from Blackjack, which is where I'm headed. Not a very flat trail all the way to the other side of the island. They came from 2 harbours. I'm going to 2 harbours and then further on to Parsons Landing. Sounds like there's water, so that was nice to find out. This trail is rated as technical or difficult. It's a long one, based on some major cities, comparing the distances of how far that would be to walk, based on, say, London, New York, Sydney, Los Angeles, Paris. Just so you can get a scope for something local that you've been to. It's nice up here. Starting to get some pretty spectacular views. There's a breeze at the top. Lovely. So that's the trail way off in the distance there. I think that cell phone tower way over there is where I'm headed, which is quite a ways away. Getting some nice views of Avalon. 2 hours and 20, and that's a 5-mile distance at the moment, so it's a relatively slow rate. It's not bad though. You get to look at this. Once you pass this very easy to see radio tower, you'll see this little sign here for the Trans Catalina Trail. Off we go. I'm guessing this is the bison enclosure. This is not the trail. Go through the gate. This gate, hopefully I can fit through. Did it. Into bison country we go. No sooner through the gate, and immediately there's some evidence. As if rattlesnakes weren't enough, keep your eyes open for giant killer cows. It's like it breaks the fourth wall when there's a road right next to you. I kind of don't want to know that there's a road that goes to the same location. If that's your expectation too, drop your bombs in the comment. Love to hear if I'm the weird one here. Maybe not a bad idea to do some pre-training, so to speak. I do a lot of hikes, anywhere from 5 to 20 mile hikes around Los Angeles. Not usually carrying a giant backpack and some extra water, and then some more extra water. I'm using All Trails, which is an app which a lot of you guys probably already know, and if you don't, absolutely worth getting. You can not only have your trail maps, but of course you can record speed, location, all that fun stuff, just like any other fitness tracker, which is nice to keep it all in one place. When it comes to being on the trails, it makes a lot more sense to be using something that's purpose specific and keeps it all in the one place. Also works well to keep your data usage down. I'm actually running my phone on low power mode the entire time that I'm out here, because it doesn't really affect the GPS performance, but it does stop your phone sucking away all of your life and having to charge it every other minute. Trans Catalina Trail to the right. Judging by the amount of scat that I see everywhere, it seems like bison roll heavy around here. Still yet to see our first, which I'm kind of okay with. In case you don't know or haven't been close to one for yourself, they weigh more than a small car. It's probably popping up on the screen right now, but they're pretty freaking heavy with a mind of their own and an uncanny ability to hook their horns under a thigh or a crotch, throw you high into the air like this piece of footage. Looks like they use these trails as well. No bison to be seen as yet, thankfully. My goal is to see them before I get anywhere near them and avoid them. I'm starting to understand the difficulty rating. It's just requiring of a lot of stamina. Getting as light as you can so your pack is nice and super light. Packing the food that has the greatest punch with the least weight, because you kind of can't really get away without carrying some water. So you might as well save the weight in other places. I don't have many changes of clothes at all, so super basic. It's just the tent, sleeping bag, cook stove, food, water, and little bits for first aid and those sorts of things. Little GPS. Tell me what you think I should have taken instead of the hefty chunk of fucking gear I brought on this trip, because I can tell you I'm a little exhausted on this first leg already, meaning I could have done better. Shoot me what your smallest gear is so I can make my next hike even lighter, so I can look less worn out at this first stage of a reasonably small hike. These views though, huh? Not bad. I've walked past a hell of a lot of bison turd. Such an abundance of this stuff everywhere that I'm expecting to come around the corner and see them all in one location. The reason I was mentioning this is I just saw one that was double the size of like a rugby or NFL football. I just hope I don't bump into that one on the trail. On the road again for a brief section. That's one of the other creatures that you'll see a bunch of here. I think the creature that you're going to bump into the most while you're on the trail is tourists, hikers like yourself. Just seen some bike packers, so many safari vehicles. Back off the road again, which is fine with me. So many of those safari tour vehicles coming through. This is heading this direction. Mile 7. It's a nice little moment. I'm moving pretty slowly, totally okay with that. Plateaued energy wise. The first part of this hike gets straight to 2,000 feet, and when you've got a full load with all your food, all your water, no reduction because you've not eaten anything yet, you're up against it. So if you're not up for that kind of aggressive onslaught while you're loaded up, and I'm only saying this because I haven't made it to Two Harbors yet, but maybe start at the Two Harbors end. What I experienced at this end, pretty crazy. So back onto some roadway again. Easy little section to just kind of catch your breath on. And it looks like we're going back off the road. I might just shut my freaking mouth next time. This contrast of valleys in the mountains, desert against the ocean out there. More scat. I've not seen anything fresh, which is good. A lot of old turd burgers everywhere. I'm guessing there might be some flatlands around the corner somewhere. Maybe that's where they prefer to be. So you can see that gradient. We're all the way up here. And down there, that's the rest of the trail. So my first kind of technical section. There's a couple of steps, a few more steps. Now, of course, through here, those steps are made of rock. I'm moving like an 80-year-old because my knees are hurting. Okay, and that was a brief technical section. So far, trail rating doesn't really seem representative of what I'm experiencing. It says 4.7 for difficulty, but I don't think it's difficult. I just think it's long. I feel like long is different from technical. Let's see if the trail proves me wrong and I'm speaking too soon. Maybe the difficulty is because of the bison. Oh, look at this little corner. That's fun. I'm starting to see some fresher scat, so I'm a little higher alert around here. Every time I hear a bird make a noise in the bush, I'm like, road crossing as we head up the other side of the trail. So many of these prickly pear everywhere you go. Let's bring some gloves so you don't get spiked and grab those on the way. There's probably thousands upon thousands that I've passed by now. Well, this is a new experience. It's kind of a nice little twist to walk between and through some trees. These prickly pears, so versatile. Mind your step as you walk past them, of course. They give a pretty nasty high five. Whew. It's such a nice thing when you see the mile markers. Simple pleasures, huh? It's only once you do the hike yourself you start to really realize the magnitude of this island. There's a lot of space on this place. Got a newfound respect for the Trans Catalina Trail. It's putting me through my paces and I'm starting to understand the difficulty rating. The amount of up and down, it's like interval training. Using all of the muscles on the legs and the knees and the ankles. The downhills can be quite punishing on your knees. The moment you get to the bottom, straight back up again. It's non-stop. I don't think there's been a flat section since I left Avalon, and it's just a varying degree of aggression on the grade. If that's why they rate it as a difficult hike, then I get it. Reach the bottom of one gully, up the next mountain. We got this. I love this. Pretty reasonable hill. Feel like I'm about a third to half the way up. Started off in that gully down there in the distance. That's why we do it. It's such a good thing. You reach the top of the hill, see a flat section, music to my eyes. And another hill. Well, here's the development. That's some pretty fresh looking scat. Looks like it could be an hour. I guess we'll find out. Some of these tracks, there's a couple, they seem rather fresh. It's 4 o'clock, means I've been walking for about 5 hours, which for the distance wouldn't ordinarily make sense. But the elevation, ascent and descent, that's how long it takes to go 9 miles, 5 hours. I'm almost out of water. I fill up my water at Blackjack. By my estimations, should be somewhere over around this corner. I can see this mountain here with the aerial on top. I believe Blackjack, my campground, is between that one and that one. It's just become visible. So that should put it somewhere around, I'm guessing where those trees are up on the hill. My feet and knees are ready to stop, mostly from the downhill. There's a certain little ligament or tendon on the outside of each knee that when I'm putting the brakes on coming downhill, man, I feel it. So I kind of don't mind the uphill. Look at the size of that thing. Yikes. That's huge. Just to give you perspective, massive. Nice little wooded section. California live oaks. Another little watering hole. Sometimes it feels like Africa around here. It's got these random little watering holes. You almost expect to see giraffes and elephants around it, but I'm sure it's mostly for the bison. Still yet to be seen, by the way. Trans Cat Trail to the right. Wait, Trans Catalina Trail this way. Never been so happy to see a sign. Bye. Oh hell. And at this point, I basically ran out of battery. I went straight over the next hill and there was Blackjack Campground, at which point I checked into my campsite, set up my tent, ate some food and crashed. And the next morning, I woke up to the sound of a lot of bison hooves. Here we have the Catalina Island bison in their natural habitat. Now it's the next morning. I'm all packed down mostly, getting it all together, trying things out. I guess my big learning for yesterday was don't push too hard at the start. I was hulking it. I was like, yeah, I got this. And just stupid. Today it's going to be about slow and steady pace. I think it's 13 or 14 miles today with just as much of the up and down. So yeah, what else? I learned that water is heavy, but I already knew that. Onwards and upwards, and it looks like so far, God, I can hear so many of them coming around the hill. So far about maybe 20 have gone past me of the bison, and it looks like they're walking exactly to where I'm going, so I'll literally be approaching them from behind, which seems incredibly unsafe. So I'll see if I can find a shortcut if they're going the same way or something. Anyway, that's my challenge for the day. On to the hike. So this is happening. Oh, man. Wow. That's a big pole. Holy fuck, there's like 20 of them. More coming in still. Damn it. And they're taking my trail. No worries. God, that one's even bigger. Look at that dude. Wow. Epic. Well, so they all started running because over here I just heard a shitload more of them running. I hadn't even thought about the possibility of a stampede. Alright, so this is going to get attached to the back of here. That's staying in the hands. And there's my hat, cup, clips on there. Just sending out my little GPS check-in, sending a notification back home. And it's just gone 7:15, and that's not a bad start time. Got up at about 6. Really been moving slowly to just pack everything away. Eat some breakfast and drink some cold coffee because you're not allowed to burn fires. No milk, no sugar, just cold instant coffee. That will wake you up in the morning and make you question why you drink coffee at all. That's my pondering for the morning. But here we go. Let's get hiking towards those bison. We're on the road. Did not leave anything. Oops. Leaving campsites about 7:30 and off onto the trail. Okay, so I've just come across my first bison. Here he is. Just gonna walk slowly. Hopefully he's okay with me just moving past. It's a little nerve-wracking, considering I don't have anywhere to go if he decides that it's not okay. Right, I've kind of got to circle around him. So he's wondering what I'm doing. So that's my trail over there. And I'm going to stay to the absolute left. He just turned towards me, which scares the fuck out of me. I don't want to go anywhere near him. Exiting the danger zone hopefully right now. Doing my best to not look at him because I don't want him to mistake that for an act of aggression. But okay, so far so good. And hopefully onwards. Getting back off the road again. Oh man. Catalina earned my respect yesterday. As I got towards the end of that leg, I didn't have the energy left because of the interval training of the ups and downs. Genuinely took it out of me. And we're heading off to the right. I'm not in a hurry for those clouds to leave. It's a much better temperature for hiking right now. It's probably high 60s Fahrenheit. Just got to see some deer over here in this clearing, but I wasn't quick enough to get the camera out. Good amount of wildlife. Talking about wildlife, last night where I camped was right beneath a beehive in the tree. I didn't realize because they were kind of home for bed by the time I arrived, but this morning it was a hive of activity. Pun intended. Terrible. I feel like there were some other animals. Oh yeah, the trail. I keep seeing what looks like deer scat, and occasionally I'll see something that looks like tiny dog poo, which I'm guessing is the foxes. It's interesting that they all stay on the trail. I mean, I know that animals follow game trails. It's kind of cool. If they're all near the trail, it means your chances of seeing some animals, it's pretty good. So there's these birds that kind of sound like monkeys. At the moment, they're everywhere around me. Kind of cool. Well, I'm not exactly sure what kind of tracks these are, but and they're freaking everywhere. Looks like we're going up and over again. Kind of feeling like it plateaus for a minute. It's off in that direction. Looks like there's a building up there. So it looks like this could be the airport. One of the other hikers I crossed over mentioned the breakfast burritos and coffee up here. So I think that's gonna happen. This is cool. Coming up to the airport in the main car park is where they keep the planes. Now, I have to find me a breakfast burrito. So I broke my glasses, so that's fun. There we go. Keep me going for the rest of the day. So I got egg, bacon. I'm sure there's some other stuff on there as well, but needed this. Good breakfast. Leaving that behind me now. Looks like there's another hiker over here who's just got off the plane, and we'll see him on the trail very shortly. Good freaking burrito. It was a lot, so let's see if I get a food coma. Hopefully it just energizes me, but guess we'll see. Back on the trail. Mile 13. The plane takes off next to me, and a car comes up beside me. And a helicopter flies over me. It's all happening. Nice. This way. So I got my solar charger down here. One part of it is in the bag. Got the 3 panels facing the sun. So charging up as we go with my phone. Basically I've got the data connection, the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth turned off, but it's not on airplane mode, which means the GPS is still working. And I've also got running on low power mode. And I've closed all of the apps that don't need to be open as well. Battery life's doing pretty well considering I'm using my phone for all these videos. Not bad. Leaving the road again. Coming along the trail. Been searching for a little bit more efficiency. I've just strapped the solar panel to the back. It can just stay there receiving sun for the day and charge my phone overnight. Right around the corner here and up the mountain over there. Nice view. And back down again. Morning. Not a bad view from here. ends up down there in Little Harbour that you can see, which is one of the camping grounds that's so popular that had no spaces for me to camp. And then it continues over that mountain, and you can see a little hiking trail up there in the distance. And then of course all the way over there, over the top of that mountain as well, all the way over to Two Harbours. So I got my hiking ahead of me, that's for sure. Mile 17. So I thought that was the trail, but that's actually the roadway. Trail heads off this way. I just saw that guy arriving by plane at the airport that I just stopped at. So it's taken him this long. It's maybe been an hour or two to catch up to me. But he's got the tough guy thing going, you know. Look how quickly I can pass you. And you can have it, man. Enjoying my hike. It's all that matters. Slow and steady wins the race. I think he's behind me now. Mile 18. Bugger. Turns out he's way off the trail, so that's good. Nothing by Little Harbour. I think I can see a water tap, so I'm gonna go fill up my water bottles and head up that mountain over there. Everyone is so friendly on the trail, it's great. Just spoke to one of the cowboys, I guess. He said that this next section through to Two Harbours is about 3 hours, and he was about 60, maybe 65, and my legs are throbbing so bad I feel like he'd probably do it quicker than I would at this point. He said it's very steep, at least on the downhill. He said it's very gradual, which is cool, so let's get this going. First switchback, second switchback, nice view. Third switchback. Kind of getting above it now. Guess we're going this way. Amazing view through here, and still heading up. So I just realized this goes to this, so all the way up and over, all the way up and over that. Still plenty more to go. After every little ridge, it seems like there's more. Made it so far up, and there's more. Take a break. I did it. To the top. Totally worth the view. Wow. After this, it's all downhill down to Two Harbours. So I made it to Two Harbours, and that's where I'm going to end. What I learned about the trail is that it's a lot more challenging than it looks. When I started out, I was like, this isn't difficult, but the difficulty comes from the amount of ups and downs, and 2,000 feet doesn't sound like much, but when you're going up 2,000, down 300, up 100, down 300, up 400, non-stop the whole way, it gets really tiresome really quick, especially if you're backpacking. So if you are going to do this one, I would recommend a light pack. Get all of your light gear out Also, very likely into the future as well, it's going to be fire ban. You can't actually cook your food. With that in mind, pack less. Pack things that are packet based that you can eat and weigh less and have more substance to them, if you will, because the less you pack, the more you'll notice it, I promise you. Luckily tonight they've given me a little cooktop as part of the campground, which is kind of nice. Thank you very much, Catalina Island Conservancy. The big learnings and the big takeaways from this trip was don't underestimate it. It's a lot longer than you think. And the reason that it's longer is because, you know, you can see where you're going and yet your trail will do this the whole way there rather than just going in a straight line. What else? The water tastes crappy. You've got a choice of either carrying way too much water or just drinking the crappy tasting water, which I did. It's very chlorinated. You can taste some other metals in there too, so I'm guessing that's the piping. Been really quite a good trip, but I had planned to do full 5 days, and I'm calling it at 2. I made my way from Avalon to Two Harbors. The next section out to Parsons Landing. It's the biggest peak on the entire trip, and it's a straight up and then a straight down, and my knees are just not digging it right now. So I'm just gonna call it, keep myself safe, not damage my legs, just make my way home. I really feel like I achieved something and got a lot out of it, so why go further, you know? This is the Two Harbors campground. It's a little further out of town than you would like after a massive hike like that. You've still got to do the little pathway from town all the way out here, and I just wanted to take my shoes and my bag off, but eventually got here, got settled, got sorted. Would absolutely recommend this trail. I'd almost say do it over 3 days, and if you can get the bookings for the campgrounds, do Blackjack, then Little Harbour, and then Two Harbors, because it might not look that big on a map, but if you do it that way, you'll have a really great time, whereas if you push from Blackjack all the way to Two Harbors, it's a chunk. There's some beautiful scenery, but really hefty ascension, and it doesn't let off. And then after you've done all of your ascension, then you got this very steady, reasonable grade downhill, which will put some pressure onto your knees as well. So keep that in mind. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this video, and hope to see you out there on the trail. If you like what I've created here, simply hitting the like button does wonders for my channel and will be truly appreciated. If you'd like to see more from me, do feel free to hit subscribe so you can catch my videos as they release. And if you want to see them first, just hit the bell. Also, if you'd like to reach out, offer feedback, or even suggest some adventures for me, then simply drop it in the comments below and I'll be sure to get it. And if you'd like to truly support my adventures, then check out my Patreon link in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.